What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Small Lake City Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Nilsson, and very excited for the guest this week and to share this episode with all of you. Our guest, his name is Bobby Johnson. He's someone who has been making waves in the tattoo industry for decades now and is also the most recent winner on the competitive tattoo show, Ink Master. So we talk a lot about the episode, his experience, and a lot from that. And it's actually the first episode that he's recorded after winning a few months ago. So if you haven't watched it, definitely go back. It's an amazing series. It's an amazing season of it. You'll definitely enjoy it and gain a lot more appreciation for the episode itself. We also talk a lot about some of the projects that he's currently working on and makes a big announcement about his biggest one that he is going to bring to us next that has nothing really to do with tattooing and a completely new venture for him. So enjoy my conversation with Bobby. Also, one thing I should note is if excessive cursing makes you uncomfortable, then you might be a little bit uncomfortable during this episode, but if you're not, you're going to love it. Enjoy.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
There
and I
we
can hear
go.
me.
Okay.
I'm just used to that, like being able to hear the...
I prefer it too. Because like at first it's always weird. You're like, I don't know if I like hearing myself. And then all of a sudden, then there's like this period that happens when someone has a mic in their face when they're like, now let me do my podcast voice or like something like that. And it's always yeah, you're back.
Dude, actually, I still love the kid, but Austin Butler, you know who Austin Butler is? He played Elvis.
Yeah.
And there's this like well documented that he had this like really kind, like light voice, and then he did Elvis, and now he kind of talks like this in interviews, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, like just,
what is this veneer, dude?
Yeah.
Stop, bro.
He was like the first one to really like do it, because before that, like music was such like a and there's so much more structure to it. You had like classical music, you had this big band, and then all of a sudden, I mean, Elvis is the one, like the king of rock and roll, who changed stuff. And so I feel like there's part of like that expectation where he's like, you know, like, and you could say that about like any generational musician, like they come and fuck shit up, and everyone's like, why did you do that? And then
actually, so to your point, I guess Austin Butler can get the pass because he's like he embraced that, and now I guess he's living it. But Elvis, or we were just talking about this. I just watched the preview of that movie. I've never even seen it, and I was talking about how. People in every generation, people of my age, I'm not that old. I mean, I'm in my mid-30s, you know? Sure. But everyone my age is like, oh, this new music, it's not like, it sucks, all this new shit. And I'm like, bro, you sound like our dads. And you sound like their dads. And then I saw that preview, and I was like, he was like, and they were like, what the fuck is this kid doing? And then he's just like, shaking his legs, and they were like, get him off the stage, he's the devil. And you're like, oh, what? Yeah,
same price.
Jailhouse Rock. And you're like, he's the devil. You're like, dude, this is crazy. Because like if this came out, we'd be like, what is this boo-boo shit?
Yeah, like this is weird ass shit.
He was the devil when it came out, bro. And it's like, we just become our parents. And for me, I'm always, I constantly move forward. Yeah. And it's not I would love to say it's a conscious thing, but I just do, dude. I'm just very progressive.
And I'm the same way too, where one of like the things I always try to live by is I want to be able to understand what's going on, like be a part of it. Because once you don't understand why, you're like, well, now what the hell? Like, that's where that kind of perspective comes from.
Yep.
And so I think it's healthy to be like, okay, like you might not, like, let's keep using music, for example. You're like, I don't necessarily like what is happening, but I can at least understand it enough to appreciate for what it is, even if it's not something that's on my most played stuff.
Absolutely, dude.
So stoked to have you here. And I want to tell you, like, I always like to start these with how I got to be in a room with people. Like sometimes he's my friend from my childhood, and I texted him and he came on. But it was funny because I have one of my really good friends, like honestly best friends and dentist. His name's Brandon Bowen. He texted me, and like a lot of my friends will be like, "Oh, this person would be good," like always giving ideas, which I appreciate more than anything.
Oh yeah, I was wondering how you sourced me. I was like, oh, that's crazy. No one even knows I'm here. You know, the internet doesn't even know that I live here.
Well, it's hard to find. Like I found that Slug article and like a couple other things, but most people are like, I thought he was from California. Like he is, but he lives here. Like you can live in a different place you grew up in. Shocker.
Yeah.
And this friend of mine is like the biggest reality TV fan I've ever met in my life. Like he's watched every season of Survivor and just big on reality TV. So he texted me, he's like, hey, like, have you ever watched Ink Master? I was like, oh, like episodes here and there, but never like sat down and like watched it. Like never, just not the biggest reality TV show person. He's like, well, the guy who won the most recent season, he lives in Salt Lake, and I thought it'd be a good person to like have on. I'm like, absolutely. And I've been wanting to have someone to talk about tattoos with, because again, like Salt Lake has such an interesting tattoo culture. And then so I'm like, all right, like let's start in square one. Let's send him a DM on Instagram. So I type up like, hey, like congrats on winning, have this podcast, blah, 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 put my phone away. And then like 3 days later, it's like, yeah, man, I'm in. Like, let's do this. I'm like,
yeah,
hell yeah. And then send a couple messages like, okay, maybe not, he's not responding. And then so I like go to your website and like type into submit, and then Lauren emails me back like, hey, trying to get in front of Bobby, I want to do this. She's like, honestly, just come into the shop. That's gonna be the best way to talk to him about it. So I'm like, cool, got it. Which is ironically below the place where I always got my hair cut by a friend in college. So I was like, oh, perfect. Here we are again for a very different reason.
Who was it?
It was at Maelstrom. Her name's Brooke.
Oh, yeah. So Brooke is a homie of mine.
Oh, really? Brooke Matherly?
Yes.
That's
so
funny.
her boyfriend, Johnny.
Yeah.
He's a pro skier.
Yeah.
He's a homie.
I was gonna say, you guys kind of actually look alike.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude, I've tattooed Brooke, and then I'm doing Johnny's sleeve.
Small Lake City.
Yeah, so
Jesus
I was like,
Christ.
I'll bet it's Brooke, dude. Yeah, that's funny.
I love that you knew it, dude. You're like,
yeah,
name.
yeah. Who? Brooke? Is it Brooke?
Like,
yeah.
Yes. And so I walk into the shop and I see a woman. And I'm like, Lauren? She's like, yes. Because I'm like, oh, I'm Eric. We were emailing. And I'm like, yeah, it was about Bobby. And like, you poke your head on the corner, like, I'm Bobby. Like, what's up? And I was like,
yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to stop by, introduce myself. And like, you were literally in the middle of blacking out her arm. And you're like, let me look at my schedule. I could tell you were a little, like, just someone just walked me like, hey, do you want to schedule to be on a podcast? And you're like, yeah, let me just figure out what the hell is going on right now.
Yeah.
And yada. Here we are. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked to have you here. It's been fun to like hear from my friend about the show, go watch the show, gaining learn more about you, and then being able to, have you in front of me and talk about it.
Yeah. I feel like I'm happy to do these because I sort of tucked away my personality on the show just because I didn't want to feel like I was doing anything other than tattoo. I didn't want to seem like I was doing anything other than tattooing. Like I didn't want it seemed like there was a reason that they were keeping me for any other reason than good tattoos. And I kind of regret that just because I'm really fucking outgoing and I'm rather loud, and my ADHD like really, really controls me. But so yeah, I'm happy to be here too. That's why I like to say I'm in my yes year, but every year is my fucking yes year. So if someone's like, yeah, you want to do this podcast? I'm like, yeah, you know what? I fucking do want to do this podcast,
But I want to start from kind of the beginning and we can get into the meat of things. But I know you're from Southern California, San Diego area. I mean, what was life like there and kind of what got you into tattooing?
Okay, so this is the big news. I grew up down the street from this building.
Oh, yeah. Everybody lied to me.
Glendale, right here.
Yeah, well, because I was curious how Glendale Bully came to be.
I grew up in Glendale, which is right next to Salt Lake. I used to walk these streets as a kid. Like, where Glendale is.
Oh, of course.
Anybody from here knows where Glendale is.
I used to go to the 9th and 9th skate park all the time growing up. Like, had friends that lived on like 13th West and 13th South, like right there. Like, I spent a lot of time in Glendale.
Yeah. So that's I grew up on California Avenue, which is 1300.
Yeah, because it
turns into California Avenue. I grew up in California Avenue, and I always tell people that. So I had real quick. I had a very skewed version of what suburbs were. To me, I lived in the suburbs of Salt Lake City, right? And then I found out that like if you go to Philly, the suburbs are like 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I basically grew up inner city.
Yeah.
Like Rose Park, Glendale are just the freeway is the only thing that separates them, right?
It's so true.
And I was like, that's a whole different city. In my head, that's a whole different city. But they're like, no, it's the suburbs. And I'm like, then I don't know what to call where I grew up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I walked the streets of this city as a very small child all the time. Me and my brother went everywhere. I remember my brother would ride his bike downtown from our house, and I would hold onto the back seat with rollerblades on.
Hell yeah.
And then, like, so often I would hit a gigantic crack and like fly off because I didn't see it coming, and we're going way faster than you should on rollerblades. Anyway, and I'd just go downtown Salt Lake, dude, all the time.
A couple stops of cracks, be like, all right, cool, we're still going downtown.
Yeah, it's fine, dude. You're a kid. You're just bendy,
Yeah, well, and I love, because I spent a lot of time in downtown Salt Lake too, actually, ironically enough, because of rollerblading. So I grew up, rollerblading around everywhere, like aggressive skating. And so I'd always be like in the back parts of like warehouses trying to find like a cool rail or a cool gap or a cool like ledge or something.
Yeah,
and so it took me into like, it's not like I was down in like City Creek every day, like, oh, this is so great. Like I was like, all right, now we got to go to the places where everybody does not want to go. And that was like where I found it. Yeah. Like found my place in Salt Lake growing up.
Yeah. Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in the Avenues till I was 10. Then my parents split, and then kind of over by like Sugar House, Foothill area.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. My son goes to school up in off of Foothill Drive, and I love like that area.
Never mind. We don't want to.
But you have to have a couple $1 million to live up there. So
dude, it's unreal. I'm actually so I'm buying a house next week. We're closing, and just like looking at things, it's like, this is ridiculous. Like there's so many, like
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. I mean, and it's absolutely beat to death, right? It's kind of like the conversation, or it's kind of like the people that post like, the average income in 1980, and I'm like, bro, okay, we get it, dude. We get it. We're getting fucked, okay? Shut up about it, We
didn't even get dinner first.
Yeah.
Dang, so I didn't know you're actually from Glendale, because everything I saw said it was from like Southern California.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, bigger picture, if you're, because I've not been from California, and then someone from California moves to your school, and you're like, yo, that kid's from California, that's sick. Yeah. And then also I've lived the majority of my adult life in California.
Got it.
I've lived in the Bay Area. I've lived in Los Angeles, kind of not proper Los Angeles, but like Carson area, and then San Diego. So if you take 18 to 35, I've lived the majority of that time in California. So I just go with California, but I grew up in Glendale. I mean, I have a very big there's a lot of pride in me growing up in Glendale, because when you're an adult and you get a bird's eye view of Salt Lake, you realize that, at least when I was growing up, there wasn't a ton of neighborhoods that were super diverse, and my neighborhood was.
Oh, totally.
So I just thought that's what it was kind of, bro, there was less white kids in my class than there was other ethnicities, and I thought that was normal, and I loved it, and I have I'm thankful for that, because I grew up around culture in such a place that, like, without offending the entire state of Utah, isn't insanely culturally rich. Oh. Not saying there isn't
I will
culture
jump on
here.
The
you know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of strip malls, a lot of stucco, just like a lot of empty.
Yeah, dude, I always say that the only other place that has more, this is like the mecca for chain restaurants, which I love, because I'm the Jamba Juice kid. You know what I mean?
I love that, yeah.
But there's only one other place that has more, and it's Las Vegas, dude. And I'm not really trying to be in a category with that city. You know what I mean? My dad's from Las Vegas. I lived there for a couple of years. But yeah, so I have, I know that I don't put it on my back. Yeah. Salt Lake on my back, especially because when I went on the show, I lived in San Diego.
Yeah.
Right? And I had every intention of moving to Los Angeles, this last January. Like, that was the plan. I was like, we're going to live in Salt Lake for one more year. But we kind of, the show went the way it went, and, you find yourself in a situation where you don't really know what you want to do. And I'm like doing, new projects and opportunities. And so I was like, we're comfy here right now, so let's stay here.
Yeah.
No one was even supposed to know I lived here. That's why I was like, whoa, how do you even find me here? People are like, excuse me, people on the internet are like, yo, dude, I'm coming to San Diego. I want to visit. And I'm like, okay,
cool.
I'm not going to be there.
Yeah, what are you going to visit?
Yeah. Have fun visiting the boys. That I work at a well-known shop in San Diego called the Grand Reaper, and I still do. I still talk to those dudes every day. I text all of them all the time. Yeah. And I think people still think I work there, which is great, which is fine. It's a good, I hate to overuse this, but veneer to have. Yeah. It's a good heading.
Yeah. It sounds like, it's one of those places where it's like there's a rapport that comes with the name itself. So to have you attached to that, it's probably part of the story that got you to like where you are.
Oh, absolutely, dude. And the thing that comes with, and this is, people don't understand this. Like, I have picked up no clientele from the show.
Interesting.
I was already
I guess it makes
busy.
Like, if your book's full before.
Yes.
And you get more popular, but your book is the same, then you're still the same amount of busyness.
Right. Like, I can't get new people in.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, but you're super busy now. And I'm like, I mean, virtually the exact same.
Yeah,
like
my day-to-day life
I
remains the
can't
same.
get a new. I'm lucky, and I'm about to get new clients in, but I can't really. I mean, I'm just like I have clients stacked up, so and I'm very fortunate. But what I'm getting at is I didn't really have to tell the internet, hey, I'm moving to Salt Lake, so if you want to get tattooed, that's where I'll be, because my clients were already flying to me in San Diego for years, and I'm again very, very fortunate for that. Very, very dope. But I just told my clients, like, hey, dude, I'm moving to Salt Lake, so just like book your stuff for there. And a lot of them are like, yo, the flights and the stay is way cheaper.
Yeah. And especially you think about like the geographic location, like it's central. It's like, let's say if someone coming from New York, someone from Florida.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Seattle, like it's
a
so
little more central. And it's a much bigger airport. It's international.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the airport here is fire, dude.
Well, like even just thinking about where your shop is specifically, it's like, cool, get out of the airport, come on over, take 6 South, and just keep going, and then you'll pretty much run into it.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
That's funny. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it's sick, dude.
So, I wanted to talk about how you got into tattoos originally, because I remember, I think I had to do like prison tattoos, like an uncle or some family member.
Yeah. So this is the maybe the funnest part of this whole story is I was 15, 16 years old, and I was a little skater kid like you, and my cousin was like, yo, my dad just got out of prison. You want a tattoo? And I was like, yeah. And so, my Uncle Frank tattooed me and him. And I got like, I think, I don't know if I'm imagining this, but I know that it was on his shoes. Adrian Lopez, the little zero skull.
Yeah.
I think he had it like here with crossbones, right? He had it like on his forearm. I was like, I want that. I want what Adrian Lopez has. That thing's sick. Yeah. And then I think he had it on both. So I got it on both arms. And my Uncle Frank was like, yo, Bob, you've been drawing a bunch? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you want to learn how to tattoo? And I was like, yeah. So my Uncle Frank like showed me how to make a prison machine, showed me how to make ink out of soot. I started fucking everyone up, and then me and the homies got a couple of tattoos, and then we got connected to. I grew up in a good little portion of my life in Section 8, like a good chunk of my life, and with my cousin, his family would just kind of stayed / lived with them, and that's if you haven't grown up in Section 8, you don't really. If you've grown up in there, you know what it's like, right? And everyone kind of knows everyone in the neighborhood. It doesn't matter if you're an adult or a baby. Everyone knows everyone's business because generally everyone's home. This is our little neighborhood. This is our little, area. And we had a homie who had a brother-in-law that owned a tattoo shop. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yo, I'll bet he'll tattoo you. And so we go in there, 16 years old. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'll tattoo you. So we were getting tattoos from a tattoo shop at like 16, 17 years old. And my friends kept bringing my artwork to this guy.
Like, what kind of stuff were you drawing?
Just like any and everything. Like, and a lot of times my homies were just like, yo, that's dope. I want to get that tattooed. Can I bring it in? And I was like, yeah, get it. And so he kept seeing my drawings and he was like, yo, would you want a tattoo? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm 17 at this point. Like, yeah dude, of course. It's like December of 05, I think. 04, 05, because I was supposed to graduate in 06. I dropped out, started apprenticing, turned 18 that next late January, and then I had a big hiatus. There was some rumblings in the shop. Didn't really work out for me. And then I had a big 7-year hiatus, but I wanted to get back into it. So I just looked at magazines, watched tattoo shows. Yeah. I kind of self-taught, and then I lied to get into another shop. And I just tried to bang out the best tattoos I could. You know what I mean? And again, I hate as cliche as it sounds, it's like, the rest is history, so to speak. It's kind of like steps and luck and timing, but And
it gets to the point where, because you start as a tattoo artist, and I imagine you just want to get as many at-bats as possible while you're learning. You're like, I just need to tattoo. The more time I have with a tattoo gun in my hand, with some sort of person in front of me, that's how I'm going to get better.
Right.
And if you already have this art but like drawing background where you have this like artistic eye, then it's just like amount of time, and you can like use that 10,000 hour rule where you're like, okay, I know how to, like artistically, I know how to do this, but now I have this different instrument that works completely different on a medium that's completely different. And it's just about getting that experience between the two. And then you can have a lot more fun with it and almost get like kind of like fluent in that own language itself.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. It's also, I've always been a strong believer in my like losses are like way more valuable than my wins, right? Yeah. So in the L column early on, it was all check marks, right? And all the W's were X's, right? But if I look at the grand scheme of things, all these losses that I experienced early on made it so like all these wins could happen, right? Yeah. So all these W's. So I had a really hard time getting back into it for like 7 years, but I think that my brain clicked into this like, yo, I have to crush if I want to get back into it, because I have a kid now. Yeah. My daughter was born like years, I had her at 20. So 2 years later I had a daughter. And I had to provide. So I was like, if I'm ever going to get back into tattooing, I know that I have to stand out and be really, really fucking good. Yeah. Right. So I just, grinded and then also timing, man. Like I just hit like conventions right, like at the peak of like social media. And then I was kind of doing a little different thing, than everybody else. So it's a really popular style now, but it wasn't.
Mostly like neo-trad kind of stuff?
Yeah, it wasn't even, I don't call it neo-traditional because like, I don't know. I just don't. I know, because it wasn't called that when I was a kid. Right. Like when I was started, you know what I mean? 10, 12 years ago, it wasn't called that, dude. You know what I mean? So like,
it's like to fit, because like, I mean, tattoo styles in general are very like over, like, what's the word I want to use? Like, overgeneralized, right? It's like, is it trad? Is it neo-trad? Is it Japanese? Is it this?
Bro, and neo-traditional is a giant box. So on the show, they were like, oh, it's just neo-traditional. I'm like, dude, this doesn't look anything like the tattoo I did before. You just don't know what to call it because it's stylized, right? Like, I wouldn't approach this fucking bear this way if someone was like, do a white bear. Yeah. I wouldn't tattoo it like this. Right. How are you going to call it my style, dude? I wouldn't do it like this. This is me, unfortunately, and I'm being truthful, doing a photorealistic bear. Yeah. You just asked me to do it. Yeah. That's how I would do it, bro. Right. If you want to say it's not photorealism, sure, but don't call it my style, bro. Because I wouldn't do it like this.
Yeah, that's not how I would have done it. I did it as best as I could in the way that you told me to.
Dude. And I said it on the show where it was like, I approached these tattoos in a way that if I went out on these tattoos, I didn't want to go out on a tattoo I felt like I fucked up. Yeah. Right? So I did it how you wanted, but I did it to the best of my capabilities because I didn't want to fuck this tattoo up. I just tried to make the most beautiful tattoo that I could. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, I mean, that's and the thing about wins, losses, and you should have won, you shouldn't have won is like, I hate to say this, bro. But like, it's like Kanye said. Was gonna wonder like what was gonna happen if I didn't win. Yeah. If I was gonna freak out. I guess we'll never know. You know what I mean? Because like, and here's the thing: I didn't vote for me. I won, dude. Like that's like I vote. If they gave me a vote, bro, I'm voting for my boy Freddie. That's my fucking guy, and he crushed everything. Oh, dude. Right? I'm also, voting Freddie, dude. Totally. But guess what? I didn't vote. Yeah. Why are you attacking me, dude?
Yeah, like, I had no.
And guess what? It wasn't my fault. You can't take the win away. Yeah. I won. Yeah. I'm sorry, dude.
Have your opinion.
I didn't even have a fucking say in it. Yeah. Don't be mad at me, bro. You bounce that shit off me and point it back to the judges. You know what I mean? And also, the funny thing is that everyone's like, I know I'm kind of spiraling into Ink Master because they all want to talk to me about other shit. They all pointed on DJ. I'm like, bruh, 6 other people voted for me. 6, bro. Yeah.
He just happened to be like that.
He just happened to be the one that was like, I love Bobby. Like,
because like even going back to the topic of like styles and overgeneralization, like how do you put Freddie in like a single category that's not just like, oh, that's Freddie, he's over there doing his own thing, right? Because it's so like I just would sit like there was a time when I was watching the show and I just paused it and I was just like looking at it because he has like. Obviously, this like huge realism part of it, but then he has this like flat jewel, but then he does his like signature, like just like lines.
And
you're just like, and you just kind of just sit there, like I don't know, and I think, and we'll come back to it all eventually, but like when I can't remember who it was who was on like the panel of the old Ink Masters, he's like, I don't like to look at this, and it's but it gives you an emotional feeling, and that's what
absolutely,
like after art's all about.
And here's the thing about it, like. If you're going to get my actual opinion on winning, yeah, dude, money's dope. But I wanted second place because you know what happens when you're in second place? People say, oh, he should have won. I'm not saying that that's the only reason they're saying that Freddie should have won because, you know, you asked me, Freddie should have won. But you also get brought back, which is you can't monetarily, what do you call that? You can't even put that on a monetary scale. Like you can't even measure it monetarily. There you go.
And it's like the same thing as like the Super Bowl. Like they don't get paid to do the Super Bowl, but the exposure of the Super Bowl and everything makes it what it is.
I wanted, dude. Here's another thing that not very many people will know. Mm-hmm. We were in the back. We were in the middle of filming that last episode, and Freddie was kind of like freaking out a little bit just because of that tattoo that everyone was kind of like here or there about. Yeah. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I'm just like, oh, man, they didn't like that tattoo. And I put my hands on his shoulders, and I was like, dude, it's like you're the only one in the building that hasn't realized that you won. I was that sure he was going to win, and I was so happy for him. The morning before we went to the studio, it was the three of us, me, John, and Freddie. Yeah. And I said, look, no matter who wins today, let's celebrate, dude. This is our last day, and let's celebrate. Whoever wins, let's just go out and have a good time because we couldn't do anything during filming. And I was like, I know we're going to be able to go out. You know, whoever's going to come out, like
bottle service.
Yeah, dude, we're going to fucking go out, dude. And the thing is, the three of us already won.
Yeah,
we made it to the finale, dude. Those two will be back for sure. I wanted to come back. I wanted to do the show again because I had the greatest time of my life. Oh, I also wanted to champion my good friend who represents so many things, and I'm not even speaking on his sexuality or anything like that, which is a beautiful thing in itself. But I really mean the boundaries that he pushes in his art. Yeah. And the thing about Freddie is that I wanted to make that clear about that because like there's so much more to be celebrated on top of that about Freddie because he's just such a special person.
Totally.
But his artwork, dude, is like it just I told him this and I've told a bunch of other people this, like it just like it's just like flows out of him and he lets it flow, right? Me, I'm the opposite where I'm like, get back here. That's a stupid idea, dude. Get back here. This is to me in my brain. Right. You know, wait. This isn't the vision. You have to stay in these parameters, dude. And you're getting crazy. Don't put pink in that. You know what I mean?
Just like a ton of like everything is like met with like a self doubt, and you're like, right, you can't do that. This is dumb.
Right. So that's what kills me when people demonize me on the internet. Is I'm like, bro, do you realize that I'm a bigger fan of Freddie than you will ever be?
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know that we FaceTime, dude? Do you know that that's my fucking guy?
Totally.
You don't get it. Like, you don't understand that, like, I think I wanted him to win more than anyone else.
Yeah.
If you watch the finale, and I hope that people, if people even give me the time of day outside of being a fan of me, and they're just like, oh, Freddie should have won, whatever. Rewatch the finale knowing this about me, because you'll realize that my demeanor and my body language is telling you.
That's what you said.
He is 100% shocked right now because they made the wrong fucking decision. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's funny you say that because I remember seeing your face. Because like, there's times where you see people win, it's like, oh my gosh, I did it, but you're just kind of like, it's almost like this like dumbfounded kind of like first reaction, like sick, like dope, but like I didn't think it was gonna happen.
That's the other thing too. Is like I was like the only thing that I can think of that kept me from being like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Was. Am I about to win? How am I about to win Ink Master? What the fuck? Dude, I never thought about the money ever.
Yeah.
Ever, dude. I'm not going to lie to you. If there was one person talking about the money a bunch, it was Freddie. I never talked about the money. I never planned on winning it. So much so that we filmed until 5 in the morning. It was crazy, dude. 11 a.m. until 5 the next morning. It was nuts, dude. There was a lot to do, but yeah. So I get back to the hotel. I have never in the whole filming didn't even consider the fact that I might win, bro. I think everyone was like, oh, I could tell from episode 1 that Bobby was going to win. Because I read a comment the other day. It was like, I could tell from every episode, or from episode 1 that Bobby was going to win, especially because of all the long-winded excuses around his pieces. And I was like, bro, screen record one excuse I made, bro. One.
It's true.
I made sure that dude, when I got critiqued, they would tear it the fuck down. And then it would go, what do you think? And I go, honestly, 100% you're correct.
Yeah.
Dude, they would tell me sometimes that my tattoos were good, and I would point out shit that was bad.
Yeah.
Bro, I never made one excuse. That comment, out of every comment that was made, flabbergasted me, bro. I was like, excuse, bro?
Yeah, you're like, what?
Never, dude.
No.
I don't know if you fucking watched another podcast, but I had surgery in October because I separated my AC snowboarding 2 weeks before I went and filmed Inkmaster. Excuses,
on your left
bro?
or right shoulder?
On my left shoulder.
Okay, damn.
I didn't mention it one time. The producers were upset because I didn't want to be in a sling.
Yeah.
Bro, excuses, dude? Fuck you,
Yeah,
dude.
like
never.
Yeah, don't even.
I am the not excuse king. You know what I mean? Anyway,
keyboard warriors, go on.
So I was so sure that I wasn't going to win that when I did, I got to the hotel. We all hung out, and then I cried in front of John and Freddie on the street in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
It's 7 a.m. I'm crying and telling them about why the fuck did I win, or how did I win, whatever. And we go hang out in Freddie's room. I think I took a drag of a cigarette, which is so out of character for me. It was like,
so
ugh, yeah, this is gross. Anyway, and then I go to my hotel room, and I'm just kind of like delirious.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like
not
those
only
moments in life where it's happening, but it's so wild. You just feel like you're almost on this like conveyor belt.
Surreal, right?
Yeah.
And it, like the day / night / morning did not go the way I thought it was going to go. I'm sort of drunk and super sleep deprived, and I'm like, how much taxes you got to pay on $250,000? Like, that's the first thing I Googled. I wasn't like, people are like, what are you going to buy with that? And I'm like, literally nothing.
Yeah.
It's going in a bank, or it's going to be invested. That's for my kids, dude.
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm going to go buy a fucking, GT3? Like, no, bro.
Like, I got to go be back in the shop tomorrow morning because I got a 9 a.m. showing up.
I gotta make this bread, dude. Like, I was like, I never considered the money, and I still don't ever think about it.
Yeah.
People ask me about it all the time, and I'm like, I'm glad. I think this is my first podcast post-win.
Oh, really?
So I think this is why I'm like,
you're like, I got a lot to
fuck
say.
everybody that's talking shit on me on the internet.
It's like the Ian McGregor, like, I'd like to apologize.
Right.
To absolutely no one.
To absolutely fucking no one.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing about me is like I'm, dude, I was successful before Inkmaster, and I think that people are like, oh, dude, so like and I'm like, dude, my life is the fucking same, bro.
Wake up in the same place, put on the same shoes, go to the same
dude.
place,
I'm
same
still tattooing.
Yeah.
I'm still like, yeah, of course I bumped my rate up a little bit, but like, comes with the territory.
Totally.
But I had a comfy life before, and I'm gonna like, if this all went away, dude, I'd still just
be tattooing
fucking,
in the shop.
well, I just like work my ass off doing something else.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, bro, I'm trying to do other things so I don't have to tattoo. You know what I mean?
Build the life you want.
Crazy, dude.
So my question is, and like this is like a curiosity I have after watching a little bit of it, like as I watched season 15 and then the one before it where DJ wins, just because I was like addicted at that point.
Yeah, dude, that was a great season. And you know what's crazy, dude? Is like the more success I have, the less cool I think I am, and the harder I work because I'm like, well, now I have to fucking be the person they think I am.
Yeah, it's like, I'm an ink master. I have to do this.
I have to actually be good at this now. You know what I mean? Like, well, you already followed me?
Yeah,
Why
now there's
would you
targets
follow
on my
me?
back. There's people watching me.
Yeah.
But how did that idea start? Because like I don't even know. Like, was it something that you wanted to do? Was it something they approached? Or at what point you're like, all right, ink master, let's go?
And then I just decided that, I guess this is the year I'll do it.
Yeah, cool.
There was a little different circumstances in regards to like a little motivation, like, dude, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about Inkmaster, bro. I know it's easy for me to say this because everyone's like, oh, it was rigged for me to win. But I'll tell you right now, and I would say, and people's feelings get hurt whatever, but like I will say the vast majority of the cast, including Freddie and including John, will tell you, dude, it's not rigged, bro.
Yeah.
It's fucking not. And dude, I gotta say, a lot of tattooers have my back.
Yeah.
A lot of tattooers are like, bro, I really think that you deserved it.
Well, like,
which is dope. Like, because I'm a technical guy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Technical.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm like, I want it to be the very best. Not that Freddie's not bro, I can't say good enough shit about Freddie, dude.
I mean, here's the thing: is I'm glad that you have this opinion because, like, I love Freddie's stuff. Like, it is so unique. It's so out there. It's so passionate. It's everything it wants to do. And then you look at the detail and you're like, it's all there too. And so it's so fun to have this like new piece of things. Cause again, like you don't want to have the same, like, oh, you want to show up and get a traditional tattoo? Cool. Let's show up and get a traditional tattoo. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's nice to like, because at the end of the day, tattooing is an art. And art is only limited by the amount of creativity and like energy that you can give it to bring it into a new direction that it's never been.
Right.
And I think Freddie is such a good example of that. And I mean,
I think so. This is why I think tattooers like my stuff a lot and think that I should have won, because they know what it takes to design around the body. And I do that. I consider, and I'm not saying Freddie doesn't, but Freddie just like is like, here's this art piece and we're going to make it today and it's going to be on you, right? Versus I'm like, here's this art piece that I drew and I drew it for this part of the body, but it's a little bit off. So I think I need to go a little bigger here and I need to make sure it works with your elbow here and I need to make it wrap perfectly because it's kind of warping right now and I don't want it to look like that. So can you just be patient with me? I'm just going to make this perfect so it looks sick on your body, right? Yeah. And tattooers see that in tattooing, right? That's like my thing, dude. That's like what I teach in seminars. I have like templates and like I show like how I designed for the body. And I think, and technical aspects, that's why I think that tattooers are like, yo, you're the one. You know what I mean? And then the general public and population sees Freddie stuff and is like, yo, that's fucking fire. And they're not wrong. Yeah, do you know what I'm saying? They're just two different things, and tattooers can see the work that goes into both. And really, really conscious tattooers know that there's hard work in both of these things. I know, being me who designs around the body and approaches things this way, not only the hard work that Freddie puts in, but the amount of like flow and creativity that he allows in his pieces, because I just demonize myself in my head and don't allow myself, and I just control the fuck out of everything that I do. Yeah. I love it. And the reason that I love Freddie's stuff is let's isolate his tattoos and his artwork. I fucking love his stuff. And then on top of it, bro, I fucking love Freddie as a human. And if you separated those two things, I love both. Yeah, period.
Both are great. Like you're like,
both are great.
Either.
Both are great. Yeah. If Freddie did dog shit tattoos, which he obviously does not, but he's exactly him, I'd be like, dude, I think that's my favorite fucking dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then you put his dope tattoos, and you're just like,
and he does this, like, what?
And his jawline's great, bro. His jawline. I'm so happy that you don't like ladies, because there would be none left.
Yeah, we would all be single, and they
no chance. Have you seen his jaw, bro? It is perfect, and his dude, Freddie's my guy. Yeah. Okay.
So and that's like one thing.
I think we just took 40 minutes on Freddie right now.
Yeah. Oh, we could have a Freddie podcast.
Be sick.
Be sick. But like one thing I always loved in the show is I feel like you were always like the pacifist. In like, because like obviously it's reality TV, they're gonna edit it how they want to, everything's gonna be dramatized. But I feel like you were always gonna be like, hey, let's go out there and make tattoos, like let's have fun. Like, but there's other people who were more dramatic, and there's more drama in like that season 14 before, because it's just a lot of.
But they also knew what they were doing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you a little backstory on Ink Master.
Cool.
2 top questions that people ask me. Number 1. This is the number 1 question. Is the drama real? Like, or do they like tell you what to say? The drama is 100% real, dude. Like if there is a moment where there is friction, it's real, dude. they are putting you at high stakes, and it's not by design. I think there's like
high stakes,
like,
high stress.
Dude, they're feeding us bad food because they want us to be on edge. And it's like, bro, the very, very, very adorable 20 to 25-year-old PAs got us this food. They just didn't know when we were going to be done filming, bro. And the place closed 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You know what I mean? But they do put you in high stakes situations, right? They're not like banging on our doors and making sure we're not sleeping. It's like, you know,
can
what
you
I mean?
say that again, but like a little bit more angry?
Yeah. So you know, you're there for weeks with the same people. Like, what happens? You know, you get agitated with each other. So, so the drama is real. I will say this though. They will definitely remind you about something that bothered you and go, hey, why don't you talk about that in there?
Yeah.
Right? Remember that thing you said
Remember
about
when Freddie
Bobby?
called you a bitch? Like,
Yeah. Remember what John said? Man, why don't you say something? Like, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's a fucking TV show.
Yeah.
They're not going to fabricate anything. They do not fabricate a single fucking thing. But it's a TV show at the end of the day. So they will make you sit on those couches until they have something. And getting something out of our cast was like getting blood from a stone, dude. Like, we were such tight-knit homies. Like, Freddie and I, they painted us to be rivals, bro. We hung out every single night.
Yeah.
Me, Freddie, John, and Sydney were in the hot tub every single night that we could, and we hung out, and I'm not exaggerating, dude. Every single night from day one, we all hung out. Every single night we were in the common room, hanging out, having drinks, being the best of fucking friends, and somehow we're enemies.
Yeah. Or everybody wants to think that you're enemies and hate each other and do
Right.
And then but it's funny from your perspective to be like, oh, you think we hate each other? Actually, I'm messaging them right now about like because
like, how funny is this that
Totally.
like they think that, like, dude, exactly, the whole time. And what else is funny is like anyone that like Freddie should have won, like, whatever, they weren't gonna get tattooed by me anyways, dude. They weren't gonna like me anyways, bro. I saw people make comments from episode 1 through 3 that made the same comments on episode 9. And I'm like, no, you just fucking hated me. You just didn't like me, dude. And I get that, right? Like, but what's crazy is that some people will be like, hey man, I'm thinking about going on Ink Master. What's your advice? And I'm like, don't be fucking nice, because the general public doesn't give a fuck, dude. Like, I was the nicest motherfucker ever, and they didn't care, bro.
Yeah.
They didn't give a fuck, dude. They were just like, I mean, thank God for Jazzy. She caused the most friction, right?
True.
And she's the homie, but like, thank God for her, because we didn't have any friction.
You're like, hey,
you know?
Jazzy, go talk
and
some more.
John,
Like, we're gonna get
Jazzy, Jazzy, you got anything? John, you got anything? Fuck. Okay, so back to the couches, right? They'll have you sit on these couches, and it's basically like, come on, guys, we got to make TV, bro. Like, John, remember the thing that they're like, have their phones like these fucking, you know, remember you talked to me about this again. They will not fabricate, but they will remind.
Yeah.
It will remind you, right? But back to season 14, everybody had done the show. So they know, and they also know that in the grand scheme of things, we're post last episode, and you know what you realize, dude? You fully realize it. Damn, I could have said anything at any time, because it really didn't fucking matter, dude. Yeah. And here's the crazy thing, bro. You have half the internet telling me congratulations, and you have half the internet saying, fuck you, dude, you shouldn't have won. But guess what? 100% of the people that approach me love me, dude. 100% of the people that recognize me are like, yo, dude, you're from Ink Master. And I'm like, yeah, dude, what's up? And they're like, fuck yeah, dude, I love you. And I'm just like, hell yeah. So like, either people are just happy to see you, and they don't actually hate you, or everyone that hates me is like tucking it in. And I'm sure that someone's like, yo, you're by Ring Master, right? Fuck you, Freddie should have won. Like, and that would be funny. That'd be so funny.
You'd probably, knowing, like, experiencing it, you'd probably chuckle, be like,
oh,
like,
bro, yeah, 100%. I actually was going to wear, because I knew who won, obviously. I was to the finale party that we went to. I wanted to make a giant shirt that said, I would have voted for Freddie, or Freddie has my vote, or whatever, like, or Freddie should have won, like, on the back. But I was like, nah, you know what? That's kind of disrespectful to everyone that believed in me and like, and is a fan of me. And I mean, bro, I would fucking love to have a rematch.
I mean, I think everybody would.
Oh my God, dude. I would love that, bro. I would love that because I would approach things so much differently. So would Freddie, obviously. Gotta be cool.
Oh, I mean,
It's so cool to have a rematch. I think because we are such juxtapositions and we have hindsight in our power. That's going back to 14. They all had hindsight, right? And they knew how the program worked. And again, they knew, oh, I can say whatever the fuck I want. So they'd go in on those couches and they'd argue, right? Yeah. Like, oh, fuck you. And then they'd probably hug later and like, oh, dude, that was funny.
And cameras are down, be like, okay, cool, let's go back to the hot tub.
Yeah, and I can tell you this. We started doing that at the end of season 15. I would go like, yo, John, I'm about to argue with you in there because there's 4 of us left. Yeah, and we need something. And I'm not about to hit Jazzy over I'm not going to hit Jazzy with some friction because that's my homie. And we were beefing like 3 days ago on some dumb shit. Yeah. And I'm not going after Freddie because the last thing I want is what people think already. We're not homies, right? So, and I have nothing to say bad about him. So totally. I'm going to say this. And then, after like, okay, go, that went perfect. I actually believed what I said to John, but like, it's not like I would ever go out of my way to tell him what I said. Yeah. It was very surface level dumb shit, right? So they knew the program, right? We would know the program, but also they have the hindsight of having done the show and being like, oh, like the finale, right? Yeah. I was like, oh, I want to tell this story. And like my last tattoo is going to be like, I'm going to utilize things that I've learned here, right? Versus, and then I hate my last tattoo, bro. I fucking hate it, dude. And I hate my second tattoo. And the 2 things that I would have changed, I would have done the exact same design as I did for my second tattoo. I would have just made things a little smaller and then that other girl a little bigger. And I would have taken my time and done the black and gray super fucking smooth and just dialed it, right? Yeah.
Again, like very technical, what you're used to.
Right. The third tattoo, I would have just done a tattoo. And now I learned a lot, dude. I learned a lot doing Ink Master. So and I've just learned a lot pushing myself, trying to be like this person that people think I am. I would just hone in and do a fucking tattoo that I would do. That's not a tattoo that I would do. You know what I mean?
But it's just hard because like even thinking about what's the term? I mean, it's the one episode where you always had like the movable tattoos where it changes as they move. And like I always love that one because you do the rocking girl on the knee. And it's funny because like and it's a blind vote. And I'm like, that's not Bobby. That's got to be them. And then you're like, guess what, motherfucker? And it's so funny to be like, yeah, that's me. Yeah. And it's always like this kind of like 2 sides to like with Ink Master. If you watch enough of it, you kind of see it where there's people, it's like, I'm going to own my style and do everything my way. But then there's this like narrative of it where it's like, oh, if you'd be an Ink Master, you have to do everything amazing. Right. And like trying to find like both of those. Cause like to your point, like, yeah, like looking back, like if I did it my way every single time I wanted to, there'd be a lot better tattoos. Right. And so it's interesting to have that perspective now where you can see that difference.
Right. And here's another funny thing. Watch the season back. Cause I did the ask every fucking time, dude. Every time I did the ask, dude, I didn't change one thing. I changed the rockabilly chick from stage diving. How do you do that? Yeah. How do you want her to, like, what are you talking about? And also, I don't know if you watched the fucking episode, but that dude was very, very specific, right? Yes. And then people were like, and he's like, I want it to move when I bend my knee, right? And then people were like, she bends her knee, and I'm like, dude, it's literally what he asked for. Yeah, like, and then people are like, he never does the ask, and it's like I will say, like, if there's like a win for me and a loss for Freddie, like Freddie was changing fucking people's minds. You know what I mean? Totally. I did the ask literally every time, bro. Watch the fucking season again. Yeah. I didn't change a single thing, dude. Even on the black and gray, the shitty cowboy that I hate. Did the ask. Guess what? That dude was like, I don't give a fuck, bro. You can do whatever you want. I was like, nah, we're doing the ask, dude. Yeah. You asked for black and gray realism. Guess what we're doing, buddy? Black and gray realism, brother. And then, you asked for a rockabilly pinup? Guess what you're getting? I did want to change his. I was scared that I was going to have people go, it doesn't change enough, right? And then I was like, I'm just going to have to do a fucking really clean tattoo. And then it was one of my favorite tattoos that I did. I also have a lot of people that are like, he just does the oval around everything. And I went back and looked, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? Let's just name my tattoos real quick. The first one, I did the oval. It's a swan wing with the fucking branch. Second tattoo, sure, I guess it's an oval, but it's the skull. Again, black and gray, realistic skull with a color headdress, the ask.
Yeah.
Third tattoo, I did I did a fucking black and gray throat tattoo wraparound.
Yeah,
you think I wanted to do that?
Yeah.
You think I was like, yeah, this is my fucking style. Let me do a black and gray throat tattoo.
This is what I've been waiting for.
And I fucking took that. Yeah. We were picking. And I was like, I'll take the bullet. And people are crying to me, dude. Third tattoo. Fourth tattoo, I did what was week 4? I did the snake fox mix.
I love that one.
I'm like, bro, he's literally what he asked for. Excuse me. It's literally what he asked for, you know?
Like, you're mad at me for doing what the person said?
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Week 5, I am number 1. I get all the way to the bottom. I get the very last pick, the tattoo nobody wants. Yeah. And I do the ask, and people are mad. I did exactly what this motherfucker wanted. Week 6, what did I do? Well, I don't even remember what the tattoo was. Oh, I did the fucking cowboy. Yeah. I think it was the cowboy, right?
I think so.
The cowboy. And I fucking hated it, but I did the ask, right? Week 7, I did the fucking heart. I did change that one a little bit. She wanted a heart brain. Half the brain looked like a ball sack. And I was like, man, I don't know if I can get this to work. That's a solid tattoo. It's not my favorite tattoo. 9 or week was that? No, week 8 was the pinups or the new school portraits.
Yes,
brother. I did a new school portrait, dude, to the fucking textbook new school portrait, bro. I did the ask every time. Week 9, right? Okay, this gets a little controversial, but I get a landscape. Okay, dude, check it out. Have you looked at a Google landscape? Yeah. Google landscape, and you're going to get a barn. Yeah. And right? Maybe. Yeah. Or just a fucking field. And I was like, well, god damn, I don't have anything, so I'm going to do a tree. Yeah, I did it a little more painterly because it's more exciting. And again, I go back to the principle of I'm going to go out on a tattoo that I am proud of. Mm-hmm. Yet I skewed the ask. It's still a landscape, in my opinion, but let's look at the other, like Freddie's landscape. I thought it was way better than mine, by the way.
I know the flowers with the
I liked my color palette, and I would rather have my tattoo, but I think Freddie's was way better than mine. I just wouldn't have a landscape on me. That's why I would rather have my tattoo, because it's a fucking tree. Do you know what I'm saying? It's a bonsai tree tattoo, not a landscape tattoo. You know what I mean? Again, okay, I'll give you that. I went a little off, right? And mostly because it's not photorealism. And then the bear was a picture of a very weird looking. If you Google spirit bear, dude, they're not. Everyone's like, it looks weird. I'm like, you're not Googling the bear. You're thinking that this is a white bear. Yeah. That's why I said spirit bear, because these things are crazy looking, bro. They look like they have Down syndrome. They look inbred, bro. And I honestly think it's because they are exclusive to Vancouver Island, and I think they're probably a little inbred, right? Have longer snouts, littler eyes. They're always wet. And so people are like, it's not photorealistic. Yeah, is it not photorealistic to the standard of looking like a fucking photo? No, I'm not very good at this. But is it my attempt? Yes. Is it my style? Absolutely, it is not. I put my style around it, right, but the bear itself is not. And then the last 3, I'm gonna get a little fucking shaky here. Number 1 was whatever we wanted. I picked Japanese snakes, right? Yes. And I very, very specifically said not traditional. I turned to Freddie and I go, yeah, but because Freddie was bummed I picked that. And I said, but we can get fun with this because it's not traditional. People are like, it wasn't Japanese. It wasn't traditional Japanese. I'm like
I specifically said.
I didn't even specifically say, my argument isn't like, I didn't say it. I specifically said not traditional Japanese. We can get fun with it. Yeah. They aired that. The second one was illustrative black and gray. Yeah. Well, I fucking drew mine, dude. And then the third one was whatever you want. That's, in my opinion, where I made the biggest mistake. That's another thing that, like, I think what the reason that people are like, Freddie should have won. for a couple of reasons that it hurts so much. One, I agree. Number two, I fucking hated and this is another reason that I maybe agree. Not particularly fond of my second tattoo, and I absolutely despised my third tattoo. And it's really hard for me not to be like, fuck, are they right? You know what I mean? And I've looked at my tattoos recently that I did, and they're actually they're pretty cool. They're still not my favorite. I've done way better tattoos. I mean, even Anthony Michaels on the panel was like, I mean, we've all seen on the internet way better stuff from you. You know what I mean?
But I mean, like, you throw in the pressure, you throw in the timing, you throw in like this, like even in season 14 when I can't remember who it is, if someone comes back and he's just like shaking almost and can't do, he's like, sorry, like this is
Tony?
like getting, And so he's like, even someone who is like, again, been tattooing for decades, professional in his own art, like recognizes the best that they can be in those circumstances, they cannot perform as well as they'd like because there are so many pressures.
Right.
So to have someone go into a process where it's like, oh shit, like even to the point of your like third tattoo in the last one where it's like, hey, whatever you want, go for it. Canvas is down, you're down, do it. Like even to look back and be like, well, it's like not my favorite. It's like, yeah, well, if you had all the time in the world with a canvas who's going to say, yeah, whatever, I don't have a calendar. You can tell me when to come whenever you want to, and all in your controllable environment, like obviously that's going to be the time you do the best tattoo.
Right. And I think what else is, and this goes back to like why Freddie's last tattoo is the most amazing. So years prior, it was go home, draw this tattoo. You have time to draw this tattoo, right? One tattoo. They're going to come and you're going to work on them, and then they're going to come later and you're going to work on them again, and then they're going to come later and you're going to work on them again. And it's going to be healed and we're going to reveal them, right? And you have all this time in preparation, right? All this, like, you get comfy, you get to set up, and you get to just have the coffee in the morning and just like, here's second session, dude. I'm ready. I'm gonna just, I have a game plan. I'm gonna crush, right? Then the last season before us, hey, we want you to do a back piece in 2 days, which is absolutely fucking insane, right? But I don't need to go into the ins and outs. They had time to draw those, right? And they only had to do one. Us. We want you to design 3 tattoos that are supposed to blow our fucking minds, and then you're going to tattoo them consecutively every single day. We can tattoo them consecutively, and I'm gonna blow your fucking mind. The second question, the most common question that I get asked is, are the time limits real? To the fucking second.
Yeah.
To the second.
Well, it's like I imagine they edit it so it looks like everyone's coming down to the wire, and it
right.
Is. I mean,
I
sure
came
there
down to
are.
the wire every time because I started late. But yes, some people were done.
Yeah, just kind of chilling. They're like, you still going, Bobby? Yeah, nice. Oh, I like your shading. You're like,
absolutely. Well,
great.
They kind of made you go back to holding and like left everything else. Like let them finish, and then they kind of like had you congregate or hey, go talk to these guys. We'll get some shots while they're finishing up tattooing, right?
Totally.
But so then you tattoo day 1, tattoo day 2, and tattoo day 3. By day 3, you're whooped. Okay, but let me put this into perspective. You don't just get to the studio and start tattooing. Right? You get to the studio. Okay, you guys are ready for us? Okay, cool. You may have set up, you're ready for us. You get mic'd up, you get all perfect. You get there, you get your clients, your canvases, and then you start tattooing, 2-3 hours later, maybe. And then you get done tattooing and you might leave an hour, 2 hours later. So let's do the math here. Let's go on the low end. You get there, you start 2 hours later, you tattoo for 12 hours, you leave an hour or 2 later, right? So bare minimum 15-hour days. 3 days in a row, dude.
Ugh.
Then and then we had to draw all of these tattoos. And then again, they're supposed to blow your fucking mind, right? So that may be an excuse for myself, but it also is like, that's why I think Freddie's last tattoo was so incredible. And that's what a couple of the judges were saying, is that it was like, fuck, dude, how'd you do this? And I remember it was day 3 and I'd taken a break, and I didn't really take a lot of breaks just because I couldn't I'd taken a break to maybe eat, and I went over to talk to Freddie for a minute, and I looked at his tattoo, and I just got a little glimpse of it. I didn't really love to get too heady and looking at other people's shit.
Right.
But in my head, I was like, yeah, dude. That dude came to win. Like, I thought that. I was like, Freddie came to win. And again, going back to it, like, who doesn't want to win Ink Master? But I was like,
right.
Dude, this isn't for me. Like, this isn't for me. I wasn't like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to show him how to tattoo and I'm going to win $250,000. I was like, dude, I'm going to get as far as I can, dude, and I want to make it to the finale. Yeah. And then I got ranked number 1 on episode 1, and I literally was like, anything after this is a bonus, dude. Everyone's already seen me rip a tattoo that I love, right? Yeah. Anything after this is a bonus. And then I go through the weeks and go through the weeks and go through the weeks. And you better believe when I was at the bottom, I was ready to go home, dude. Yeah. I was absolutely fucking ready to go home. And then you go through the weeks, and then you get to the finale, and you're like, hell yeah, dude, I'm with my boys, and I made it. They're going to bring me back, dude. Freddie's going to win this fucking thing. And then, you're in the moment. I know this whole episode is being, like, talking about the finale, but I really haven't been able to. So,
right,
like...
Let her rip. No, and I love hearing about it, too, because it's, like, it's so fun to see how much, like... it's fun to see how much you guys care about each other, because I feel like if you spend that... Like, let's put it this way. You are in the same place at the same time. You all have, like, the same passion. I would imagine if you don't know each other personally, you at least know of each other. And so there's this whole like world and like kind of coming together of everybody. We're like, yeah, of course we're going to end up being friends, because how the hell wouldn't we? We're all,
I mean, you're all stuck together forever. And look at these fucking girls, man. I had to take a shower 2 seconds before I got here. Yeah. So like, I'm going to go back to something that just came across my brain.
Yeah.
Now that I'm bigging up Freddie and saying that like maybe he should have won, and as far as like if we ever got a rematch, that'd be so sick.
Everyone would want that, yeah.
I would absolutely not go into it assuming that Freddie was going to win, and I would also not go into it assuming that and just like, oh, I'm going to let Freddie win this time because make everyone happy. I would go into it with the healthiest mind ever, being, hey, I'm going to prove to everyone why I fucking won and do amazing tattoos. But the flip side of that, dude, is if I lost, I got to fucking see my homie do it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like there would be nothing more in the world that I would love more than a rematch with him, because those two things. I win no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Win-win, yeah.
It's a win-win. I'd love to prove and do tattoos that I'm 100% back and be like, these are fucking winning tattoos. And I feel like I'm maybe like a little unconfident, and I don't want people to be like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have won. Because like I did fucking great tattoos, but like I'm just being truthful. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if I got to see my homie win and I got to rip some more dope tattoos, it'd be so fire.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, and like seeing you, like, let's say, like, and it's funny that my brain goes this way, probably just because I like golf, but like they've had these like recent things where it's like, oh, Tiger versus Phil, or like these things, and it's like almost in a similar way. It's like, all right, we've got Bobby, we've got Freddie, they're going like head to head, like something similar. Like I'd watch that shit. Like worst case scenario, I watch a bunch of dope tattoos being made like by a bunch of really cool people.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Yeah, I would. Yeah, that's the thing too. Is so I won. And I couldn't even look at Freddie. I was like, fuck, man. I'm like, I was heartbroken for him. That's again, watch the fucking finale again. My body language isn't like, holy shit, I just won Ink Master. I was like, holy shit, my friend just lost Ink Master. That's how I felt, dude. Mm-hmm. And I talked to Ryan on the after show, and she told me that's how she felt when she won. She was like, holy fuck, my friend's lost. Like, that's how I felt, dude. My friend's lost. As soon as John got eliminated, and that's my fucking guy. I texted him today. He texted me today, I miss you, bro. And I text him back, I always miss you, dude. You know what I mean? That's so my fun. Fucking dude. That's for life right there. But as soon as he got eliminated, I was like, I'm like, I did it. I fucking made it to second place, dude. Like, this is the sweet spot. Yeah. This is the perfect spot.
Especially going from week one where you get like top spot to be like, yeah, all right, like worst case scenario, I get second. Because like when that point when you're like, oh, anything after here is a treat.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to the casino and you win back what you had plus some. So you're like, I'm gonna put my like what I started with in my pocket. Everything else from here is winnings.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you get to this point, you're like, oh my god.
The second I'm like, this is, dude, I fucking did it. I made it. Like I won to second place. Right. That was my. And Freddie was like, I was on FaceTime with him a couple weeks ago, and I was telling him, I'm like, God, I wanted second because like, it would have just been so fucking cool to like come back and people be like, you should have won. And Freddie has like a good like community structure around him for like a very valid number of reasons. So it probably wouldn't have been that much support, but I think whoever loses always gets that kind of like, oh, you should have won, you know? And he was like, yeah, but you'll be fucking stoked you won. Like down the road and they get the money and stuff, you'll be hyped. Like this is coming from Freddie, you know? Right. But like in that moment, I was like, I fucking did it. So when I won, I really felt like, holy fuck, my friend lost. And so I was going to text him. But the next morning we had to go, this was after the finale. The next morning we had to go in for, not morning, but like kind of late afternoon because again, we got, maybe it was the next morning. I can't, dude,
no one was feeling great that morning.
Very foggy, dude. But I remember we were like at the elevator and I looked at him and I was like, gave him a hug and I was like, dude. And I had hugged him after that. There's photos of some videos of us hugging at the finale, but I gave him a big hug and I was like, if I left you alone up there, man, I'm so sorry, dude. I couldn't face you, dude. I couldn't face you because like I did, yeah. and I regretted it because I felt like I just like left him alone, and then everyone came and embraced me because I was the winner.
And it's not like it's like completely intentional. You're like, I win, see you, Freddie. But it's just like you're so incredulous. Yeah. Everyone's coming to you, and you're just taking in the moment as you can.
And it didn't go how I planned. I was like, man, when Freddie wins, I'm going to give him the biggest fucking hug. I'm going to be the first person to hug him, and everyone's going to love it, you know? Yeah. And like they're going to see that him and I are just fucking homies. And I just was like, the last thing I wanted to do was turn to my homie who lost and hug him and act like, dude, aren't you fucking happy for me?
Yeah. Like, tell me how happy you are for me. Like,
yeah.
Not
like,
that guy.
So it's a weird, dude, I posted yesterday. Somebody made a cool edit of the finale video.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah. That's really cool.
And I really didn't want to repost it. Not because it wasn't a great video and not because I didn't have a great time, but bro, I literally still have PTSD from not only the win, but the aftershock of winning, of like thousands of people DMing me congratulations, and hundreds and probably at this point 1,000 or so people commenting that Freddie should have won. You know what I mean? It's like, it's really a mindfuck. And then guess what? It's all during Christmas.
Cool. You're trying to be holly and jolly, and you just get this reminder after reminder after reminder.
People are fucking disgusting, bro. Yeah. I'm getting DMs on Christmas about how I shouldn't have fucking won, and I'm a piece of shit. And I'm like,
Merry Christmas.
Oh, like, cool. I can't, like, I would type up like dry type, like, I can't believe that people would go out of their way on Christmas fucking day to DM someone this. Yeah. And then I was like, I'm not going to give anybody energy. I don't give a fuck about you. Yeah. There's a couple people that will comment on every single thing that I post. And they've commented on a couple of things that are like a collaborative post. And I'm like, yo, bro, can you delete this? And they're like, why don't you just block them? And I'm like, they don't deserve that fucking energy, dude.
Yeah. The validation that
they don't deserve that energy.
It affected you.
Like, dude, hey, you're nothing. You're not going to get blocked. Yeah. I don't give a fuck about you. That was mean. You're probably you probably suck. I looked at your profile several times. I can't believe anyone can stand to be around you, but dude, awful people. I've never done that. Have you ever done that?
No, I would never.
Bro.
And it reminds me of, I don't know if you saw this video, but it was of Kevin Durant running on to the court, and you hear this someone behind me like, hey, Kevin, you're a bitch. And he like stops in his tracks and turns around, and these two people are like wide-eyed, and like she sticks her hand out to shake his hand. He's like, no, you just like call me a bitch to my face.
Exactly.
But they're like, no, but like, hi, like,
but you're Kevin Durant. Holy shit, dude, that's legit the energy that I get when people see me out and about. I'll even have people go like, oh my God, you're Bobby, you're from Ink Master. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And they're like, oh my god, I can't believe it's you. And like my husband's loves your stuff, and I'm like, in hindsight, I'm like, oh, you're a Freddie fan, like, which is great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you're still happy to see me.
Totally.
Even though you may or may not agree with what the outcome was, it's like that's just the same thing. It's like, yo, Kevin Durant, you're a bitch until Kevin Durant gives you the time of day, and then you're like, holy shit, you're Kevin Durant. Dude, I will be real with you. This is gonna really piss off everyone in Salt Lake. I'm a Lakers fan.
There's a lot of Lakers fans,
but I'm also a Jazz fan.
Yeah.
I'm a Jazz fan.
You don't have to be one or the other.
Yes.
Like, you can like you and Freddie, and it's fine.
Crazy concept. Exactly. Isn't that crazy? You can like me and Freddie.
Most people think so binarily that it's like good, bad, black, white, up, down, yes, no, but they don't realize, like, oh, there's a whole spectrum to this. And so much of it is subjective anyway.
Yes. And I understand, and this kind of goes back to what I'm getting at, is like, the reason that people hate the Lakers is because Kobe's a Jazz killer, right? Mm-hmm. And so is Jordan. When I was a kid, my stepdad would be like, it was Stockton Malone era, and my dad would be like, my stepdad would be like, oh man, I hate Jordan. And as a kid, I'm like, how do you hate Jordan? He's the best, you know. And then I grow up, and I move forward, dude. I'm not.
Always moving forward. You can't sit and like linger on it, because it only does like.
I'm progressive.
Yes, progressive. That's the word.
Progressive. So I loved Jordan. I love Kobe. I love LeBron. He happened to also go to the Lakers, which is, I mean, because I grew up a lot of my adult life in California, so I became a Lakers fan. And Steph Curry is a LeBron killer, dude. Oh, yeah. Like, I know that they're, tit for tat, but it's not quite the same as Jordan and Kobe versus the Jazz. Mm-hmm. But I fucking hated Steph Curry for so long, dude. I was like, Steph Curry's a bitch, dude. What a bitch. But guess what? If I saw Steph Curry in the airport, I'd be like, holy shit, that's Steph Curry, dude. Yeah. Dude, you're the greatest shooter of all time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like you're like, hey, fucking LeBron killer, fucking Laker killer, like, I hate you. Like, no, you're like, I respect, like, nice to see you, nice to meet you.
Right,
for everything you
If
have.
anybody saw LeBron in the airport, they'd be like, and they're like, I fucking hate LeBron. They see LeBron in the airport, and they'd be like, yo, that's LeBron James. I actually saw I saw Dwight Howard in the San Diego airport once, and he was coming down. There's this like escalator in one of the terminals, and I stop and I'm looking at the gates, and I turn around and I'm like, him and two dudes are coming down the escalator, and you can't mistake Dwight Howard, dude.
He's like ginormous.
And he just looks so distinctive. His teeth are so white, and he's so handsome, and like he's just 8 feet taller than everyone else.
You're just like, oh my God, look at this man.
Damn. And I just like have like my hands in my backpack like this. And I'm like, he comes down the escalator, and I'm just like, and I don't even know what to do. I'm like, he's like walking past me, and I was like, and he's like on the phone. He kind of like notices me, and I'm just like, that was Dwight Howard, dude. That was fucking Dwight. I know. And it's just like, he passes me, and I'm just like, holy shit. Yeah, like, that's what happens when you see a polarizing human, you know?
And like, I feel like you could be the person, like, let's say it's someone you hate. Let's say you're the biggest Lakers LeBron fan. You see Steph, and you're like, like, if you see him, like, it's like almost that just disappears, and you're like, yeah, it's still Steph Curry. Like, he could go away and do whatever. You're like, oh wait, I should have called him like a pussy. Oh my God, like, no, why didn't I do that?
Oh,
like,
I should have said. But you would never even do that in person, dude. No one's gonna come up to me and be like, fuck your tattoos, dude. Like, they're like, oh, actually, like, you did. At the end of the day, like, let's be real, dude. Like, there's some pretty fucking solid tattoos done on that show. Oh. You know what I mean? But back to the Jazz. I'm a Jazz fan, and I think everyone is kind of this way until they're playing the Lakers, right? I lived in San Diego for a decade, and you go to a Padres game, and you're a Padres, but I'm gonna tell you right now, that's a transplant city. Mm-hmm. People that are from San Diego are unicorns.
Yes.
They know it, and you know it. You're like, holy shit, you're from here?
Like, no
and they're
way.
Like, yeah, I'm a unicorn. And like, yeah, you are, because no one's from there, right? You go to Padres games.
There's less Padres fans than anything else.
Well, not anymore, because they put money into them. They got some players. But you go when they're playing the Cubs, and you better believe it's 50-50, dude. You go when they're playing the Dodgers, it's 70-30, and it's not Padres. You know what I mean? It's like that, though. You know what I mean? But like, I'm going to ride for the Padres unless my boys are coming down. You know what I mean? Like, I think, you can be a fan of two different things. And also, like, who doesn't want to root for the home team?
No.
You know? Who doesn't want to root for the home team, bro?
Yeah.
Anyway. It's the what it is really. If you want to break it down to one single human, it's the Draymond Green effect.
I like where it's going.
I fucking hated Draymond Green for so long, but guess what I realized? Draymond was on my team. That's my dog.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my dog.
Yeah. He got ejected? Yeah, but it's like, it's understandable.
Yeah, because he's got his boys back. That's why he got ejected. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, that's our guy. You know what I mean?
Everybody
Like,
hates someone until they're on their side. They're like, oh, no, I've loved him forever.
absolutely, bro. You're like, oh, Pat Bev, he fucking flops, whatever. And you're like, and if you're a Celtics fan, you're like, look at Pat Bev just getting all those fucking.
Look at those fouls. Yeah,
I love it, dude.
Thing.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Tom Brady and so on. You're like, you hate them until they're on your team. And then you hate them because they're not on your team. That's what you do.
Exactly.
How can you hate Steph Curry, dude? I'll tell you how. He just torches you every night. You know what I mean?
He'll just pull up from the logo, and next thing you know, you're down by 30 and you're crying and you don't know why.
Like, oh, see, Steph's only scored 4 points in the first quarter. He's a bitch. And then you're like, yeah, but dude got 29 points in the fourth quarter, dude.
Yeah.
He
Buzzer
just
beater. He's like, yeah, he just turned on and made it happen.
Sorry
he wasn't on your team.
And
good
that's
luck.
why you hate him.
And that's why you hate him. No, it's so true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously we have, like, I mean, Ink Master's over. You're back back to like your life of tattooing. Like nothing's really changed. What other projects are you working on, or what does the future look like?
Yeah. So, I'm actually trying to maybe get my podcast going back again. I need to learn. I'm gonna pick your brain on this, but
got a couple opinions.
Yeah, learn how to like, do the video thing and whatever. I always did audio. And, doing a ton of collabs, a ton of big projects, conventions that I'm sponsoring, not only doing artwork for, but sponsoring. And then I'm, trying to get my clothing company off the ground. It's going to be fucking cool, dude. I had it named. I'm actually wearing a Juliet beanie right now. It was going to be Juliet. Unfortunately, there were some circumstances where that isn't going to happen. But my new clothing company is going to be sick. I don't know that I want to reveal the name of it yet, but you just have to be on the lookout for it. Yeah. As cheesy as that sounds, but I am going to integrate this thing to be absolutely like exclusive as fuck. Like everything is going to be dialed into the T, like things you haven't seen before. Are you going to look at the designs and go, well, I've never seen that? No, it's not going to be a fucking Freddy tattoo where he just like pulls a crazy thing out anywhere, but there will be details where it's nothing like you've ever seen. It's kind of like where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Where there's going to be the first launch, there's going to be a one specific t-shirt that's, if you have that, for life, you will have access to so much different shit that out of the clothing line that I have 10% off of like everything, always little things like that.
Right.
If I ever throw an event that's like a crazy party, you have that shirt, you're an owner of that shirt. Yeah. It's like a fucking, I might even like have a card that's like, yo, I'm fucking Prologue. You know what I mean? Like that. The shirt is called the Prologue shirt. But it's going to be very, very, very niche and high end. I'm working with a ton of fucking people right now with it. I'm getting a ton of help. But it's going to be structured. When I buy clothes, I don't know how you purchase clothes, but when I buy clothes and I find a little tiny touch, like, oh man, look at that little fucking detail that like no one else did, or like this little tag or this little whatever. Those are the things that I love. So there's going to be a lot of findables in my stuff, right? Yeah. So it's like, oh shit, look at this little detail.
I didn't even notice this until like 2 years after I got it. There's this little thing.
Yeah, there might be homies that are like, dude, do you know about the Easter eggs? And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, yo, you know that like the thing in the inner lapel, right? Or like, you know the words on the back of that, what that is, right? And then you probably don't because you didn't Google it or you didn't look into it. And it's like, holy fuck, this is an Easter egg. Yeah. And if people catch on to it enough during the drops, the first person to figure out every single Easter egg of the drop will get stuff for life. They'll get every single drop. I will send them every single piece from every single drop for free for life, right? So, and the thing of design is like, this thing is only as big as people make it, right? And again, I have some advantages knowing tons of people, not only knowing tons of people, but having a platform,
totally,
right? So I have those advantages, but like this thing will only get as big as people want it to get,
right?
And like then you have like this deep stock, whatever that means. Because like if you get a Supreme shirt, it's like, oh man, dude, you have one of those, and it's like, yeah, you could throw it on Grail for $100, but are you gonna? Yeah. So it's really just like a cool prestige thing that like It's like when you get Jordans and you wear them. Oh shit, you have the Travis Scotts? Yeah, they're dope. Well, they're not worth a fuck anymore, but I still have them. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's a flex. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So I'm trying to do that. That's like the big thing that I'm trying to do right now.
Like even just like with your designs and like even if you go to like your website and you look at like the prints and stuff, it's like this is so like even if it was just as simple as here's some of my prints on shirts, I could be like, yeah, take my money, please.
Yeah. So
but then you level in all of these other details of like the Easter eggs and the subtleties and like all of everything. Like hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually. It's funny that you say that, and I love that you said that because it's not going to be my tattoo designs. I want it to be a clothing company. I want people to be like, oh, this is real. Like, this is a thing. This isn't merch. This is like its own little baby. And I want people to go to how I've experienced things where they go, oh, fuck yeah, this is cool, man. I'll support Bobby. And they buy a shirt and they get it and they're like, yo, this is my favorite shirt. Like, you have those pieces where you're like, oh, yes, this is clean. I'm wearing this today. Like
every week, this is part of the laundry that gets done. Like those repeatable classic
I'm wearing
quality.
A shirt today that I love. It's a Palace shirt, and I just love the design.
I thought I was wearing a Palace shirt for a second.
Yeah, my closet is. I hate to say this because buy my shit, not this, but my closet is basically Palace and Kith. Like those are like the two things.
If it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah. They're just like doing everything right, right? And they're not, especially Kith. Like Kith isn't blowing my mind with designs. They're just doing these little tiny quality details. It might just say Kith here, but then it's like it's a flocked. You know what I mean? And you don't see that a ton, and it's just dialed in. And take my $120, dude. You know what I mean? So that's a super fun thing that I'm doing. But I really want it to be known that like I want people to go, you know what, this is actually my favorite shit, and I'm never gonna miss a drop now. Like oh fuck, a new drop's coming, I gotta get some shit. Or I missed out on that Prologue shirt, but they got the golden ticket shirt coming up. I got to get the golden ticket shirt. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Or like I'm gonna have a trophy room drop. I'm gonna have a fucking it'll be a sick one. My favorite one that's actually coming out right after the first drop is the country club drop.
Ooh.
And it's going to be sick. It's going to be like golf inspired for sure. My dad took me golfing enough to like that when we're at Top Golf, people are like, oh, what? And I'm like,
didn't see this coming.
Oh yeah. My dad, it's like on The Office when Pam's like, and did volleyball camp most summers. You know what I mean?
She's like,
I'm not that good, but like I'm like I do catch people off guard at Top Golf because they're like, how the fuck do you know how to swing? And I'm like,
they size up this guy with like, covered in tattoos. Like, oh, he's probably here for the first time. Like, bitch, outdrive me.
yeah. Bob. I'm actually have friends that are tattooers that are way better than me, but it's funny. My mom was very poor. My dad wasn't rich, but he like made ends meet. But my mom and dad were never together a single day of my life. I was a fling. I was a stem from fling. So so it's kind of funny. Like they just weren't together when I was born. You know what I mean? So when I'm like, oh, I grew up in Section 8, but my dad took me golfing. It's like, well, there's two parts to that. You know what I mean? Actually, in Glendale, I didn't live in Section 8. I just lived in well, you've been to Glendale, so you know. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't need to explain that. You're not like, whoa, Rich. You know what I mean?
Wait, that's what Glendale's like? I had no idea.
Yeah. Just drive down to 7-Eleven. You'll find out. But, so yeah, dude, I'm excited about the clothing thing. I think it's going to be sick. I think it'll be big. I think it will also be where people that don't have tattoos will love it. Like, it's not going to be tattoo driven. It's going to be everybody that likes cool shit driven. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like one of those things where they could see it and be like, oh, like, I love this piece. This is so great. The quality's there. And then they'll buy it and be like, oh, wait, this is like Bobby did this? Like, oh.
Yeah.
All right. Like,
exactly.
It's like not just so part of your personal brand or part of what people would know you as. It's this whole other thing that's
right. Oh, shit. I want people to go, the person of X brand, dude, he fucking... that dude won Ink Master, and then he went off and did this thing. Like, even if it's not big, I want it to be special.
Yeah.
Even if it's not big, that's my main thing. That's why I have thousands of dollars in Juliet stuff, and I was like, this isn't it, man. Yeah. This isn't it. There's a couple legal issues, and also there's not anything beyond like this short little stint, and I want to do this for a long time. Yeah. I want to, like, again, like I said, like if I sell 20 things a drop, then I sell 20 things a drop, dude. Yeah. If I sell 200,000 things a drop, then I'm gonna keep going no matter what.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Reminds me. Have you ever? So one of my favorite books I've read recently. So over the past year, I've been painting a lot because I have this creative itch and just needed something, and like painting has been it. And so Rick Rubin, his book, The Creative Act, like that's
dude. I have that book.
It's one like I listen to at least 5 to 10 minutes every day.
It's is it The Creative Act or is it the act of is it the one that has the circle on the front and on the back it has the circle and the dot? I have that book.
Yes, so
good friend of mine gave that to me, and I was like, fuck, I am an idiot and I don't know how to read. So
shit.
Yeah, I'm like, thank you so much. I'm definitely gonna look at this later. But I bought it on audio. I haven't cracked it yet, but I obviously can read. I just don't have the attention span.
Bobby can read.
Or the time. Yeah, Bobby can read. I just don't have the attention span nor the time. Right? So I'm the reader that reads 3 pages and goes, wow, I just literally read words. Yeah. Because I was thinking about
I'm the same way.
This thing I need to draw later. You know what I mean?
You get to the bottom of the page, you're like, what did I read? I have no idea.
Yeah. So anyway, go into this book because I have it and I want to read it.
So, I mean, obviously Rick Rubin, and I won't get into the details of Rick because, like, I mean, his legacy is so amazing of producing so much music, but actually at the same time not doing the producing, but really just
Dude, those interviews where he's like, I didn't actually do a fucking thing.
Yeah.
I just said, yes, no.
Yeah.
This will work. That is not going to work. And I'm like,
and he was
but that's genius.
Every single time.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting in the book where he talks so much about, like, you are dedicated to yourself, you are dedicated to your process, you are dedicated to your work. Nothing else matters. You don't do this for anybody else. This is a process. And there's so much more nuance to it and details, but like every time you read it, there's just like this like mic drop moment. You're like, I've never thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right in every way, shape, and form. And so, yeah, like definitely if there's someone in the shop who's a little boring, throw in some AirPods, throw in Creative Act. And
dude. Well, so I'm not saying I'm Rick Rubin, but what's funny is that I was talking about this yesterday with a friend of mine. I don't think that my success, he's actually a member here as well, weirdly. Yeah. I don't think my success stems from anything other than the fact that I've always only been worried about good tattoos. Again, going back to Ink Master, dude, I never was like, gotta win. I was like, I gotta focus on my tattoos, man. I just want these tattoos to be good. I, again, didn't want to look at other people's tattoos, didn't want to know what they were doing, didn't want to tear them down. Go watch the show, dude. Didn't tear anybody down ever. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just unless it was like those little like planned arguments between John and I, but him and I planned. I didn't tear anybody down for anything, ever, dude. When I'm at the bottom, I'm never tearing anybody down because I wanted to focus on just my tattoos. And the thing is, I always had this theory that with good tattoos, money will come, right? Some people are like, I want to make more money so that I can like focus on tattoos and have more time for them. But I'm like, look, if you focus on tattoos and they're fucking amazing, you can charge more so that you can work less, so that you can make those tattoos even more amazing. Like you said, flip it. Yeah. Flip your mindset to, I just want to fucking make dope shit. And that was what goes back to my clothing company where it's like, I want people to get this. And okay, if the driving force is like, I really like Bobby on Ink Master, or like he's the homie, or I heard him on this podcast, I'll buy one of his shirts that he was talking about. I want him to go, I fucking love this shirt, dude. Oh, yeah. Like, fuck, he thought of every little tiny corner. Like, he dialed this shit to fucking, like, the fit is sick. The details are sick. The graphic is sick. Like, yeah, it goes back to, so, like, I definitely want to read that because then it's like, what do we say about the credit cards? Having the same credit card as somebody else? Yeah. It's validating.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, yeah, fuck yeah. And also, like, who can't learn shit? My new seminar is called The Forever Student because, like, I think one of my biggest strengths is that I always have my eyes and ears open.
Totally. And that's like the thing I love about the creative process is like you come to realize whatever avenue of creativity you pursue that it's a forever journey. Like you're always going to be a student. There's never like this point you reach like, well, I'm a perfect artist now. Like that's it. But the more that you can own that craft and learn and grow, no matter where it comes from, whether it's a peer, whether it's yourself, whether it's like some stranger you sit across the bus from, like that's what you're chasing for. And to your point of like owning your craft, always wanting to do better, wanting to do these better tattoos, like that's the way it gets to be there. It's not some guy being like, all right, and if you do this right, we'll give you $1 million. It's like, okay, that's not what motivates me. I want to be able to have someone look at a tattoo and say, this is dope. They executed this flawlessly. I would kill to have this on my body. Like, touche. Can't find anything wrong with it. Like, and that's where fulfillment comes from. It's not from, I mean, you can like, and I always think about it as the Anthony Bourdain effect, where if you talk to people, they're like, okay, like what life do you want to live? Most people be like, oh, I want to travel a lot, eat good food, spend time with like famous people and go from there. Like, Homie's ending didn't end the way you would think it would. And so when we think about like, oh, if I had this money, if I do this, like I'll get to that zen. But in reality, the more true you are to yourself, that inner voice that tells you of what you need to do creatively, like you know what's good, you know what's better. And even to the point where, I mean, being such a harsh critic on yourself and your own work, like most people be like, no, like, look, it's great. Like, Bobby, come on, like glass half full. You're like, no, this is my craft. And if I can't find something wrong with it, I can't improve.
Dude, and I would hate to be the other way around. Again, like I said earlier on the podcast, I feel like I'm being harsh on myself because I know that the tattoos that I did and won with are good tattoos. The problem is I just don't tick that way, dude. Mm-hmm. I can't fucking tell you. I can't lie to you. First of all, I don't like lying, dude. I lied a lot when I was a kid, and it gets you nowhere. And so I live and die by, I will not fucking lie, dude. Mm-hmm. I refuse to lie, right? That goes back to, excuses, dude. Record one for me. Yeah. I want to see. I want to hear it because I don't have any. Yeah. Two things, I always say two things can be true. Can something be really good and I hate it? Almost 100% of the time.
Totally.
Can you like Bobby and like Freddie? 100% you can. Can you hate something and know that it's good?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Can you know that you love something that sucks? Yes. Yes. Like two things can be true, right? Yeah. And usually, half the time, it usually is like, well, I think the reason that this happened was this or this. And realistically, it's probably a little bit of both.
Exactly. Somewhere the truth's somewhere in the middle.
Right.
It's just so funny. Like I'm finding myself in this fun like juxtaposition right now where Tuesday morning, the person I recorded he is a art dealer, but like so Anthony is on 4th East and 2nd South. It's this old like antique and gallery. Never been there, but like I've had a bunch of professional artists on, like you got to go talk to this guy. And so it's funny having him he went to England and studied, like got his PhD in like Spanish art and like all of this. And like we have the same conversations about creativity and art and like what it means. And then we go to this whole other opposite end of the spectrum with you. And like it's thinking of both of you in the same room is like amazing because I think you guys would both have so much to talk about.
Man, maybe we'll do a part 2 with the 3 of us.
Dude, I would love to see you and Micah in a room. He's probably one of the most interesting people I've ever come across. But it's like, I love the creative process. I love artists and the brain that they have. Like there's this quote on my phone that I've had for at least this year, because it's been like my mantra, quote unquote, but it's, where does it go? Come on. Entrepreneur's mind, athlete's body, artist's soul. Like if you're doing those things, like always growing with being an entrepreneur, how do I grow? How do I get shit done? How do I make things happen? If I'm taking care of myself, and if I like have this creativity and like soul of like,
what you mean?
Want to see more?
It's not your family, dude. It's not like whatever. You want to hear something funny?
Yeah, of course.
Look at my background. It just says, I'm going to show the camera. It says time, and then it says quit rocking the chair.
Sure.
Because I watched this fucking video, and this goes on. Tattooing, I've done so much with it, and I still want to skyrocket with it, right? But it goes to my clothing brand and really anything else. It was talking about how, well, at first you see a ton of videos about like we don't have a ton of time, right?
Right.
And you forget, like I think like I have a fucking million tattoos in my phone that if I died tomorrow, no one would see them, right? Or I have these millions of drawings that no one's ever seen. And if I died tomorrow, why the fuck was I saving them, right? Yeah. It's like people think that way with money monetarily, like, oh, I'll just spend it because what if I die tomorrow? That's ridiculous. But sharing all these things that I should share and or doing this clothing company, you're like, fuck it. What happens if I die? Excuse me. And so like we don't have a lot of time. So I put time and how important it is to just get things going, right? And then I put quit rocking the chair because this video was talking about all these people that like they idol, right? rock the chair,
And they
so to
think and they
speak,
ponder
right?
instead of
And he's
being
like,
actionable.
examples, thinking of a brand name, designing brand logos, watching videos talking about business or what they're going to do, planning, instead of just fucking doing, and they're rocking the chair because they're just going to forever be, oh, I got this new brand name. Oh, I got this new logo. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, I'm going to watch this video. But are you pulling the trigger? Are you making orders? Are you doing that? So I have that on my phone. And I think anyone successful should have a fucking reminder all the time of what you want to be doing. And that's the one that I have right now. Quit rocking the chair, because I want to do shit, man. And I love that you have one on your phone right where you can see it, because I don't know, man. I think that like that's a sign of like success or wanting success.
Yeah.
People, I say this in my seminar all the time, and I know this is getting long-winded, this episode for you.
Good.
I say this in my seminar where like I've traveled the country and met other tattooers that are like, man, I really want, oh man, how'd you do it, dude? I want to be good. I want to be sponsored by, you're sponsored by Fusion. Oh, they give you free stuff. Are you sponsored by whatever? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, I want that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I've never thought that way. I wasn't like, I want to be good so I'll get free shit.
No.
I was like, I want to be good. And then they'll be like, yo, what are you doing tonight? And I'm like, well, I got to go draw. And they're like, oh, well, we're going to go to this bar. Like, if you want to hit us up later. And I'm like, okay, cool. Not going to happen. I got to draw. Not that I don't party, you know?
Right.
And then, you know,
work
next
time
night.
is work time, fun time is fun time.
Right. And next night, and I'm not saying that this happens every night, but next night, yo, what are you doing tonight? I'm like, oh, like, I guess I could get dinner with you guys. Like, that's cool. And then they're like, oh, yo, you want to have a couple of drinks? I'm like, I got to go back and draw. And they're like, oh, you know, we're going to go to this bar later. And I'm like, I'm going to draw. And then like, I realized that like, this is a pattern. Yeah. And I realized, you don't want it, bro. You say you want it, dude. You just say you want it. Like that's like the very peak of rocking the chair, so to speak, right? You're just trying to convince yourself that you want it. And I have a quote that I say at the very end of all my seminars. If you want to be great, you will. Because if you're not great, you don't want it. Yeah. Right? And I'm not saying that there's people out there that aren't great or haven't hit their stride or haven't peaked because they didn't want it. But, dude, I've had to will some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I've had to will some. It wasn't like, I know that everybody thinks that, like, Ink Master was handed to me, right? A bunch of people do.
Yeah, no one sees the work that went into all of this before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, dude, like knowing all these people, again, it goes back to, you think you can't get in because I was on Ink Master, dude? I worked my ass off before it. But I willed good tattoos, and that goes back to like wanting it, right? And then like I think these sort of things, that shows me that you're like, you fucking want it. And the dude that I was talking to yesterday, who was a member here, I was telling him, it's like those videos. I was like, dude, I'm so sorry I'm talking your ear off about business and like whatever. He's very, very smart and well. He's successful and, you know, just like a fucking great dude. And I was like, I hate to talk your ear off, man, but it's like one of those things. It's like, you know, if you're the, this is so cliche, dude. If you're the smartest person in the room and you're the most successful person in the room, you're the dumbest person in the room.
You need to find a new room pretty quick.
Right. So like, that's why, like, when you told me about this place, I was like, wait, what the fuck is it called? I was like, I need to be there every second of every day.
Come through.
Because it sounds a lot like they're a lot smarter than me. And that's who I want to be around. I want to feel stupid.
Yeah.
I want to go, fuck, how did he do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then, but like also on like the other end of that, to be surrounded by those people where you're not just like, oh, like I want, well, you have like, I want to be like you to be part of my circle.
Yeah.
The people that turn out are like, yes, like let me help you. Like, what can I do to be a resource to you in this process?
Yeah, I told I think same dude. He was like, hey, there's this person that would love to like sit down and talk to you about like helping you out and whatever. And I was like, man, that's a really nice change of pace that someone wants to help me versus someone that's like, yeah, dude, I know a guy. And then they introduce me to the guy, and then the guy's like, yeah, dude, we'll help you out. And then like because you're the homie hookup, they treat you like, but yeah, dude, I love being around. I love being on the show. I love being like in a room where somebody has a mantra on their phone to remind them like to push forward. And like, that's, dude.
Those are the people you like, cause again, like, let's say you're the person who's like, oh, hey, like we're going to go get dinner. We're going to go get drinks again. Like, sure, do that. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'll join in every now and then, but you're not going to be part of this inner circle that gets access to me all the time, and the person that I go to riff when I have an idea or need need some sort of just like sounding board for whatever I'm working on, like that's fine. Like they have a place, but it's not going to be right here. And like that inner circle are the people that you need to be the most cognizant of. And it's hard because like you need to keep the grass cut because they're snakes. And no matter what stage that you're at, whether if you're like, the most successful person in the room or the person who's just building, like you still have to be understanding of the energy you have, who has access to it and who you give it to.
Yeah.
Or else you're just going to be stuck in these cycles of these same people and never going to those long-term goals and dreams. You're just stuck.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, dude. Yeah, that's another thing about this building. Is it like from the outside? It's like, oh, okay, it's like a castle of whispers, so to speak, or like a boys club, or like oh, cool, like we're better than everybody. But no, it's what it is, and it's like, oh, it costs money to be a member, and it's like, no, what it is a group of people who think that monetarily, it's well worth spending X amount of dollars to be around and have a place where like-minded people can congregate and meet up.
Yeah.
And hey, oh shoot, look who it is over in the corner. Let me introduce you to this guy. Like,
happens every day.
You guys would be perfect together. Like you guys need to fucking vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's super important, dude.
Yeah.
That's like
priceless.
Dude, you can't put a price on it, dude. Yeah. They literally do, but you really can't. You know what I mean?
No, totally. I'm with you. It's like one of those. When you realize the worth of your time, where you want to go, like nothing gets in that way. And like to the point where people are like, oh, we're going to go do this thing. It's like, I got to go draw. I got to go draw. I got to do the work. I got to be consistent. I got to do the work. I can't just not show up for myself and for like everything around me. So yeah, I'm with you.
Dope.
Bobby, this has been an absolute fucking blast.
I hope so, dude. I know I was kind of a mess. I was off the rails a little bit.
Don't you fucking dare apologize. This has been so fun. It's been so fun to get to know you more than anything. Like, obviously, like Ink Master, tattooing, cool stuff, but like getting to know you as a person has been super fun. Like, respect the hell out of you. Love everything that you're working on. Love the energy that you have. Love the drive that you have within you. Like, so excited to see what happens, honestly. Like,
dope.
So stoked for it all.
Dope, dude. Hell yeah. Thank you, man. I had a lot of fun. When you hit me up, I was like, oh, you know what? I'll do a little local podcast. That's cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like roots, but like now you have legit setup. Your vibe is sick. You came to the shop just to meet me. I'm like, I like that guy. You know, you told me about this place. I'm like, you left, and I was like, I like that guy's vibe. He's cool, right? And Lauren's like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's sick. I'm kind of looking forward to hanging out with him. You know, I've done podcasts where they're like, yo, dude, so what's up? And I'm like, hey.
Yeah, like that's it. That's it. That's what we're starting with. Cool.
Okay, I'll turn the personality up. So, dude, I was,
yeah.
I didn't even have to do that. Yeah. We just like flow, and like sometimes you just meet people, and you're like, oh, bro, this is gonna be easy, dude, and it was easy. Yeah. I mean, little do the viewers know we knew each other for a total of 15 minutes before I started.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So you made me feel very comfortable. Totally. It was. Thanks for having me, dude. It was a lot of fun.
Like likewise, been so fun to get to know like. It's been fun to like scratch the itch of like I watched this show that was super fun and get to like pick your brain, but again like just getting to know you as a person and sitting down has been way better than anything.
I mean, I'd love to come back, dude. Honestly,
hey, I'm always looking for fun co-hosts that we can have. So let's do something.
I mean, yeah, we can do pull somebody in, and honestly, like I'd love to shoot people your way. That'd be cool. Yeah, I always have fun people like swinging through.
Oh, I bet the people that end up on your books are. Like even just the one you were talking about with the husband of the news anchor.
Oh,
like,
dude, yeah.
They just come through. Like I had no idea this person would be on my table, but like, ready? Like here we go.
That's a weird name drop, but he's just such a good person. Sorry, guys, I had to say it. Like it's funny. Like I've met so many, people of celebrity, I guess you would call them, or whatever you want to gauge it as, but like. It's really funny talking to him because like we talk about the news anchors that were on when we were kids because we both grew up here, and I'm just like, dude, you did it. Like we all like had like Hope Woodside was like the prettiest person in the world when we were kids because you saw her every single night, and now like I kind of like he was just on the phone, and I was like, I don't know if this is healthy to put on the internet, but I was like, a little starstruck. I'm like, dude, she does the news, and like I was on fucking TV. I get recognized everywhere I go. And I'm like,
to watch this every morning.
You do the news. That's crazy.
Yeah, everybody turns on to watch you.
Yeah. So like when I started tattooing teachers, I was like, yo, you guys are fucking humans? Oh, yeah, you're like, or like when I started tattooing police officers, I'm like, oh, you're real.
Yeah, you're like still a human.
You're not NPC. Like, they're real people. So, like, of course, someone has to do the news. And guess what? Someone has to be married to that person. You know what I mean? But yeah, I do get a lot of weird, like, I've tattooed people in movies and film and video games. And, like, just like, it's been a crazy career, dude.
I mean, I'm like, as someone who loves to converse and just like pick people's brains and just get to know people, that's like one of the things that, like, I think I would love as a tattoo artist. Like, all right, cool. Like, tell me about what you did for work. And by the end of like 6 hours later, you're like, now how dare your aunt say that to you in this like at family dinner doing this?
It's literally like that. I'm like, damn, dude, the audacity. You know, and I'm like, I don't even know this person.
No, it's sick. Love it.
Dope.
Dude.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Salt Lake City Podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, review, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends. And we'll catch you next week. We'll see you there.